One of the artists I studied in both my jazz history and popular music history classes at SUU was Sonny Rollins. Did you know that there was a solo he improvised for more than 3 minutes straight, playing just a single note? You might ask why anyone would love something like that with only one note. The answer was subtle changes in timing. He literally just changed the timing and the rhythm for about 3.5 minutes. And at the end of this, I will explain why I mentioned timing at all, but there are a few key factors that play into why timing is so important in music, even more than pitch. Holla to you percussionists out there. Now, coming from a pianist, you might find my argument that rhythm and timing is more important than pitch to be quite off, but hear me out. When I was in high school in marching band, there was a master class done with a percussion expert from a local college who called the drumline the battery of the band. And this was an effort to emphasize the crucial element of absolute rhythmic alignment the drumline needed to have to act as a rhythmic glue that holds the rest of the band together, especially in moments when someone is having a tough time seeing every last movement from the drum major. Now, in the book I'm reading right now called Your Brain on Music, The Science of Human Obsession, it's by Daniel Levitin, and the author points out that it's, quote, no coincidence that making music requires the coordinated rhythmic use of our bodies. And the book also talks about the ways that timing even plays into how our brains process pitch, and everything from timbre, or the quality of a sound, to how we can tell if a tone is off pitch, why we falsely refer to a pitch, a note, and a tone as the same thing, and why different materials and instruments give off different sounds, even at the same frequencies as other material. When a material is vibrating fast enough, the resulting interpretation from the thousands of tiny hair sensors in our cochlea receiving that vibration from air molecules creates a sensation in the brain that we call pitch. But the vibration of those molecules isn't a pitch. It's a flawlessly timed series of vibrations that us humans have found out how to creatively manipulate for artistic purposes. And I promise I'll get to the part why timing matters and what I do as a musician and a business owner, so hang with me a little longer. Now, the difference in timbre happens because of something called harmonics. More than one frequency is actually being produced for each key you strike on a piano, for example, and those different frequencies are called harmonics. So A, 440 hertz, the fundamental frequency of A. The brain also gets the harmonics 880 hertz, 1,320 hertz, 1,760 hertz, and so forth, adding 440 to each new harmonic. So why do different instruments still give different sounds, despite quote-unquote pitch being the same? And it's because our brain detects differences in how loud each of those harmonics are relative to each other, and we hear, quote-unquote hear, a different tone accordingly. On a violin, for example, bowed in the center at 440, you hear mostly odd harmonics, 440, 1320, 2200. Trumpets have more evenly balanced amplitude or volume among both even, 880, 1760, and our odd harmonics. Each different instrument, or any object that makes noise, has a unique harmonic profile or fingerprint of how the harmonics are balanced. Our brains are so tuned to the timing of each of these harmonic fingerprints, if you will, that they all sound at least slightly different to us, if not more than slightly. Okay, now here is where I get to why it matters to me and how it affects what I do for you if you work with me in my studio or work with my studio. Being on the autism spectrum and a lifelong musician, timing matters a great deal to me. Being on time to meetings, doing things when I say I will do them, shooting for perfect artistic timing to all the tempo changes or lack thereof, the ritardandos, the ralentandos, the rubatos, and so forth, all matter to me a great deal in creating just the right balance of emotional tension and release. So for the listener, if the beginning of a word is just slightly off from the beat where it's supposed to land, it won't matter a ton. And many people actually like the humanness of that kind of thing in music. I notice those things much more quickly and have trained my ear over the years to recognize those subtle differences, to recognize the difference between artistic, pleasant, and deliberate delay or rushing of a few notes here and there in a song or instrumental piece. And when something really does need to be perfectly or almost perfectly aligned to have that just right, often danceable feel to the music. Well, in all those cases, what I shoot for with great zeal and pleasure with what I do is a professional level of attention to those details, both in timely delivery of a high-quality result in music and the artistic sense of timing that makes the expression of the music just right for the message that you want it to come out. Right? Your listeners may not hear those little discrepancies in timing after 5, 10, or even 20 listens, but they will eventually, and they may not know why a certain song is becoming awkward to listen to, but I do. I know how to catch it faster than most, and I always do my best to make sure every element of timing in my work is top-notch. That goes both for quality in music and speed of service. It's gotten kind of to the point where now I can, pump out a good 3 to 5 minutes of sheet music or track of audio recording in a few hours or less. So send me a message, share with me your musical ideas, give me a chance to prove it to you, and have a great day.